What I'm looking for in a bank is one that's looking out for me, like NBT. I want a relationship and a team that supports me in my dreams. And when life gets challenging, I need a bank that's focused on what matters. Not to mention one that's been top rated by Forbes in trust, customer service, financial advice, and more. That's why when it comes to meeting my banking needs, it's always NBT. Learn more at nbtbank.com. Member FDIC Equal Housing Lender.
Welcome and thanks for tuning in. This is Tom Hickey from 2020 Media, and you are listening to NBT Bank's On the Scene podcast. We reach over 250,000, that's 250,000 readers of the Jewish Ledger, weha.com, and West Hartford Magazine, live 24/7, 365. Today we are joined by a very special guest who's going to talk to us a little bit about Hannukah. We'll get to him in a minute. But first, I'd like to just say hello and to my partner in crime, I refer to him, but our co-host, Bob Carr. Good morning, Bob.
Good morning, Tom. Tom Hickey, along with myself, Kosher Bakati. Ronnie Newton is a founder of weha.com. Tom brings to West Hartford the Connecticut Jewish Ledger, West Hartford Magazine, which is West Hartford's original lifestyle magazine, various tastes of West Hartford, the best of which West Hartford, which we just had our 10th anniversary back in November, along with many other fun events throughout the year. Our podcast is assembled and posted by the Modern Observer Group of Middletown, Connecticut. And today our guest is Rabbi Shaya Gopin from Chabad in West Hartford. Hopefully that's correct, the West Hartford part of that. Good morning, Rabbi.
Good morning. Good morning.
So, to start off, we know that the Festival of Lights coming up, that Hannukah is coming up, but can you tell us a little bit about Chabad and specifically how your organization grew over the last several decades?
First of all, I love all the West Hartford elements to it. I grew up here, and it's something growing up in the greater Hartford area, and I to come back and to serve the community. I think I'm the only rabbi that's originally from here, still serving our community.
Oh wow, there you go.
Obviously,
and it's funny, Rabbi, because now I refer to everything as sort of the greater West Hartford. I've got the West before Hartford now because there just seems to be so much going on in West Hartford.
Thank God, thank God. And so I grew up here, and my father established Chabad of Greater Hartford in the mid '70s. So I grew up in seeing the community evolve and seeing the impact and how, and that was something I was very proud about. And obviously I went away to study in different yeshivas, but after we got married, we were committed to that line of work, and we were excited to come back to this community and to serve. And it's our passion. And you asked about the Chabad movement. Chabad is about 250 years old approximately. And actually, it's interesting. Tonight on the Hasidic calendar is when Chabad celebrates its its celebration of the launch, so-called. It's called the 19th of Kislev. So that's a different story for a different time. But the movement was really about it's about how to serve God and a spiritual one. But ultimately, after the Holocaust, Chabad moved. It centered after escaped Europe during the Holocaust, and it established itself in New York. And then the 6th Chabad Rebbe and his son-in-law, which would become the 7th Chabad Rebbe, started, realizing the Jewish life was needed a lot of a boost for many, many reasons. And their attitude was, we have to reach out all over and try to connect people, bring people together, connect them to their heritage. And you have to realize, after the Holocaust, where so much of Jewish infrastructure was decimated, and in the United States, the assimilation was very, very strong. A lot of communities felt we have to come and let's sort of rebuild our own little community or state to ourselves, sort of. And that's what many religious leaders did. They invested in creating these little communities, whether it's in Brooklyn or other Jewish communities. And the Rebbe felt the opposite. He was very different than the others and felt it's our responsibility to reach out. The greatest defense is offense. If you're out spreading light, trying to connect others and reaching out to you, that keeps you strong. And it was counterintuitive, but it was realized he had a follower, most of them immigrants, most of them who had been through Stalin and then through Hitler and through all kinds of challenges. And he inspired, says, it's our job to go out. And he sent people all over the world, literally, to establish communities, to connect and to serve the communities whichever way they can, to connect people to their heritage, to bring a community together. And that was how Chabad became what it became today, which is the largest Jewish network globally. But I just wanted to add, yeah, go ahead, Bob.
Yeah, so just based to follow up real quick, my understanding of the Chabad movement, hopefully I'm saying that correctly, is that, so if there were non-practicing Jews in places that wouldn't have a synagogue, you'd move into those communities, so say Montana, and then be able to bring in the tenets of the religion to people who may not know it. Is that correct about the movement to some degree?
Yeah, well, that's part of it. Meaning it didn't necessarily go to places where there are no synagogues. It could be there was a synagogue, but the people were not necessarily. There are a lot of people who still needed to be connected. So it wasn't so much about the infrastructure, more about how many of our go where the people are at, and there was a strong need for that, and to reach out. And it's not about it's reach each person where they are and connecting to them, and one of the philosophies of Hasidism that really inspire this. What does the Hasidic movement have to do with becoming a global network or building communities? Because the philosophy is the beauty of the core of each individual, that everyone has a soul that is a spiritual power that is infinite, that's beautiful. And no matter what, I'm not selling you something. I'm not here to sell you religion. I'm here to try to spark your soul and try to connect with you and give you something that's meaningful to you. And, when you do that and you embrace people non-judgmental, your approach is that, I'm not judging you, whatever you observe, whatever background you're from. I want to share with you something that I feel is beautiful. And hopefully find what connects to you. And let me, and it varies because everybody's in a different place, and you connect to people where they're at and try to bring them something of value and anchor. It's a chaotic world out there, and I think our society, people people often, an anchor and a sense of values is crucial when we're navigating the seas of life. Even thank God, in the beautiful country we live in, and the amount of abundance that we live in compared to our great grandparents. But that attitude really was what Chabad did, and it was successful at it. Initially coming in places where people didn't see the need, or some people said, "It's too late, Rabbi. You're not getting." My father came here; he had two different people. Some people said, "No, go back where you came. We don't need. We have already." Thank God, Hartford was an old Jewish community. We have a lot of synagogues in Hartford. And then he had the others who said, "Rabbi, it's too late. There's a lot of the kids are not engaged anymore." And and he said, "They're both wrong. We believe in each individual, and it's never too late. And there's always a lot of light that we could create. When we get to Hannukah, we could get onto that as well."
Yeah. And don't you think too that a lot of what you've been saying is sort of what you're doing, by going outside of West Hartford now, into the Farmington Valley and into Bristol. When, we talked a few weeks ago, we were talking about that. I mean, it's amazing to me that, where typically you wouldn't think, that there was, what you post yesterday on social media, that a menorah went up in Fairfield, that kind of stuff. It's just, you don't think of those things, but it's so exciting that they're happening all around us.
Yeah, absolutely. It's a sense of responsibility to each other. Our community is not my club. It's not about a club. It's not about membership. It's a genuine care, and each individual you have the opportunity to connect with. It's genuine, and then if you can inspire someone in whichever way you can, that's very powerful. And the truth is, I'll elaborate when you just said, Tom Hickey, how it elaborated, how it moved on to other communities. But even the message is not just for a rabbi and a job. It's a message for everyone. Like we all have our own area of influence. We all have people, and we're very into minding our own business. But truthfully, when you have the ability to give a kind word, or to inspire someone, or to reach out, if everybody's on that wavelength, thinking about, if I could make a difference in my environment, and I believe in the other person, I can inspire them. So much goodness can be created, versus just staying in my lane and not doing so. So that's just a side point. But you said, yes, that is the idea of Chabad, going out and trying to reach and engage. Obviously, not every, if you think about it, nobody believed. You mentioned Montana earlier. That was a classmate of mine. Rabbi Brook is a classmate of mine. He's unbelievable character. You should get him on the podcast. He's very, very engaging, and he's a great character. And when he moved there, people were like, "Who are you moving there? There's no, who are you going to, is there a Jewish community there you're going to engage?" And he, it took a lot of guts, but he built multiple cities now, which they have full-time, communities, synagogues, people so a lot of our colleagues have gone to places where people wouldn't have imagined that could be a Jewish infrastructure, but it's even more than that. We send, rabbinical students to places where there is no community, just finding individuals, connecting them, making sure that they feel connected to a community and to our traditions some way or in some form that relates to them in their life.
Wondering what's happening in West Hartford? Visit weha.com. Weha.com is the most comprehensive calendar in West Hartford. Subscribing to weha.com, West Hartford's best news source, is always free. Visit we-ha.com. We have it all in West Hartford.
Just so we don't forget, Bob, I think it's probably a good place for the rabbi, if you could talk to, how do you prefer people to talk to you? They're driving around now and they're listening to us. Do they go to a website? Do they call you? How do they get involved with you?
Sure. Our phone number, if you'd like to reach out to me, is 860-232-8556. And my email, if you wanted to reach out and ask any questions, shaya@chabadhartford.com, shaya@chabadhartford.com. But I'm not sure if that's what you meant, but the Chabad of Greater Hartford has multiple satellites all around, even in the state. I can't remember how many we are already. I'm probably about 30 centers. But in Greater Hartford, we have West Hartford, we have Simsbury, and we have Glastonbury, and we have the University of Connecticut, University of Wesleyan, University of Hartford. There's multiple locations, and just last year my wife and I moved to Farmington to expand to the towns in that area as well. And Hannukah, you said it, Hannukah, we're going to have a lighting on the green in Farmington Thursday night, the second night of Hannukah. We're going to talk soon about Fire and Ice, which is in West Hartford. It's the largest state. Think about that. It's pretty impressive what happened there. But there's going to be lightings all over the state. Southington on Monday night at 6:00, and Tuesday night in Bristol, and I can't even keep track of Glastonbury the 25th, which is Wednesday, and every night somewhere around this somewhere near you, Holland.
Great, beautiful. I love it.
But let's get to the theme. Why do we do that?
Fire and Ice, absolutely.
How did you get into that Fire and Ice? How did that? That's it looks lovely. I've never been, but it looks lovely.
You gotta come. You gotta check it out. So before it starts back with what you started the podcast with, Bob. Your original question about the Rebbe, Rabbi Schneerson, the leader of Chabad the seventh leader, who really inspired this global growth. But he also, the idea of Hannukah being so much in sync with his general message. It's really like the thread here is like so direct. He's the one who instituted the idea of Hannukah, bringing Hannukah to the public. What is Hannukah? The history of Hannukah is the miracle of the Maccabees, where they were oppressed by the Greeks, and they didn't want to allow them they wanted to influence Jewish culture, to become Greek culture, Hellenize them, and they prohibited them to observe their religion, and the Maccabees stood up and fought back, and it led to the miracle of the lights, where there wasn't enough oil in the Holy Temple in Jerusalem. They had for one day, and it lasted for 8. So a tremendous miracle. But the theme of Hannukah, we don't celebrate every victory that happened in Jewish history. Sadly, there's been too many battles and conflicts over the millennia. But these are universal messages, eternal messages. The message of Hannukah is the idea of light over darkness. The idea of going to a place where a time where it seems dark, and you can transform that atmosphere with positivity. So that's universal. It's not even a uniquely Jewish message. It's a Jewish message that's relevant to everyone. It's universal. So that's that. And the custom, traditionally, all the way back, is Persumei Nisa. That's the terminology the Talmud uses in Jewish law to spread the miracle, to publicize the miracle. It's not every Jewish tradition is there any element of publicity. But when it comes to Hannukah, it's written in Jewish. We're supposed to. That's why many put it by the window. To spread the message of the miracle. Why? Because we all need to know about that. And I think the idea of that it's dark outside and we can bring the light to the darkness, and it's not quantity. It doesn't have to match. The dark. You don't have to. A little bit of light, a little bit of positivity, a little bit of goodness can really transform a lot of darkness. That is a powerful message, and the Rebbe felt that's so much in it. So let's get out there. He encouraged his Hasidim, his followers, get the message out there. So someone put I think the first one is in 74. Someone put a massive menorah, 30 feet tall, in front of was it Liberty Bell? I can't remember where it was. One of these freedom. I don't remember. You'll look it up on Google. You'll find exactly the first one. But and the Rebbe encouraged it, and then encouraged his followers to do so, and became a part of American culture in all major cities, in front of capitals, and when I grew up in Hartford as a child, my parents would have a large menorah lighting at State House Square in Hartford. As a kid, we still always go. I remember it was a 30-foot menorah, massive. They used to have a cherry picker to go to go. It was a big deal to store it and to put up that menorah. It was massive, and it evolved over time. It was West Hartford was where more families were able to come together at night, and there was times at Bishop's Corner. And when I moved here in the early 2007, so I think we started 2008, but we were thinking, where's a public place? And then it was Blueback. Where's a place in West Hartford where people hang out? West Hartford Center was up and coming, and it's a place where it has the right feel for a public celebration, community feel, and that's how Fire and Ice started. At the beginning, it was called Hannukah at Blueback, and then when we did the ice menorah to make it exciting, it wasn't about the size of the menorah. Now it was about the block of ice and carving that. That took on, and it's grown until we couldn't fit into Blueback Square anymore. And then COVID hit. So we did a drive-in, and we didn't know what to expect. We didn't know what to expect COVID, because if you remember, there weren't a lot of celebrations going on, and imagine you're sitting in the car with all your kids, and how are you going to make I could just imagine some kids crying and this and that. Are we able to really engage them from a distance? But it worked out unbelievable. It was like people coming out, and with all the precautions, but a drive-in celebration. It was amazing. So that, thank God, has grown. And this year it's going to be at West Hartford Center Town Hall. It grew to become a concert. We realized there's so much great energy. How do we bring it all together? We bring a powerful singer, or a powerful, where we could really celebrate together, light the menorah, come together as a community. And it's been, exactly what the message is. We're a lot of people from diverse backgrounds, including Tom, including a lot of people in our town who've heard about it, and they come and everyone's welcome. And some people are very grateful they could come observe and learn about our traditions. But really, it's about the universal message that each one can take home with them, that we want everyone to realize they can spread light in their environment. So number one, those of the Jewish faith, to observe the traditions of Hanukkah. We give out free kits all over the state with candles, so they can go home. Each night you light a different number of candles. First night 1 candle, second night 2, and do the traditions of Hanukkah, but also the message of, everyone, you can bring light. You can bring a lot of light in a dark place, and there's a lot of dark places where we can bring, and just a little bit of light can dispel a vast amount of darkness, defy all that. Just like the Maccabees. It was a lot were against them.
A little bit goes a long way, right? That's it.
Our entertainer this year, by the way, is amazing. His name is Nissim Black. He's originally, you guys should look him up, and his life story is amazing. We don't have time to go through it here. You should really get a podcast with him if you could catch him. I don't know if you could, but that he's an amazing story. Grew up in Seattle, had a difficult childhood. I think he didn't stay with his family, and he was a rapper. He was very involved in gangs. And eventually, he evolved till he became a Jewish, and then he became a Chassid, and he became a Hasidic African-American rapper who lives in Jerusalem. He has a great story, and he brings all the religions together because he explored all of them.
Yeah, I was going to ask you about that. I saw the picture, and I saw that you had Hasidic rapper. How can you explain just quickly what Hasidim is? What Hasidism? Excuse me. Because there are multiple sects, right? There's yourselves. I'll get these all wrong. Bobavar, Balzac, Satmar, because I'm very familiar with Satmar. I'm saying that correctly. So I'm just, what is Hasidism, and how is that different from other Orthodox? Or
right. So, in a nutshell, the Hasidic movement was founded by Rabbi Israel Baal Shem Tov, who lived in Galicia, in Poland, about 300 years ago, and his idea was, Judaism at that point. What there was a strong. There's multiple layers of it, but if you realize at that point the Jewish community in Europe was very, very poor, and very it was not easy, and there were a lot of people who were very educated and the knowledgeable in Torah law, and those that were very poor and not knowledgeable, was a big divide. And he spread he was incognito for a while. He'd go from town to town and get on a soapbox in the middle of town market and speak about the beauty of the soul of the simple person with simple faith, that you could connect to God with dedication and sincerity. And he inspired people. And the tenet of Hasidism is belief of not only we have to follow a tradition, about Jewish law. There was a lot of scholarship that existed then. Of course, Jewish scholarship was very strong in Europe and all over the world. Has never stopped. But the study of the esoteric, of the divine, of the spiritual, understanding the value of each soul, and he brought that inspiration to the Jewish world. And it's a sophisticated philosophy, studying, meditating, understanding about the divine and what our tradition teaches us about what's behind the scenes of the natural. It's not just it's not only belief, but there's a lot of scholarship there as well, and inspiring each individual. So the Hasidic movement then evolved, and they based it on locale. Chabad was one of the larger branches near Russia by Rabbi Shaya Gopin of Liadi, and he established the Chabad philosophy. Chabad stands for Chachma Bina Das, which is wisdom, knowledge, and understanding, which means that it's not just an emotional way. We have to each understand and be able to inspire ourselves. It's a very sophisticated philosophy. And it's there was, as I said before, there were 7 leaders. So the different sects have different cultures based on how they took the teachings of Rabbi Baal Shem Tov, but the basic tenets of serving God with joy and the belief in the soul and appreciating the spiritual, that actually didn't remain only in the Hasidic groups. It really infiltrated all types of Jewish life nowadays. It became universal. Many of the tenets became universal and beyond the Jewish community. So many of you probably heard a Hasidic's tale about Rabbi Zusha or about this one or that one. So that all comes from these teachings.
Okay, thank you.
Yeah.
So I would like to segue into that if you want to add a little, spread a little light in the world to join this event, to come to this event. And how about the details now, Rabbi? It's Sunday, December 29th, right?
Sunday, December 29th, 3 p.m., West Hartford Town Hall in the lot right in front of the doors there. There's going to be a beautiful stage. There's going to be a carving of an 8-foot ice menorah. There's going to be activities for kids, for adults, glow-in-the-dark golf and trackless train, and then food for sale. And there's going to be glow-in-the-dark swag. But there's, we didn't mention the art contest that we partnered.
Go right ahead. Go for it.
We want children to create any form of art. Any form of art. It could be a drawing, it could be a sculpture, it could be whatever you call, but with a message on the theme of Hannukah, which is a little bit of how can you spread a little goodness? How could you can make a difference in your environment? A little light dispel a vast amount of darkness. Any way you do that, and the judges will judge it, and they will decide the best one. The winner will receive a great prize. It will be featured on all the media, 2020 media, and WeHa.com, West Hartford Life magazine. They'll be featured in all those. As well as there'll be a runner-up with a great prize be announced there as well. But Nissan Black is our featured concert. He's going to give a great concert. It's going to be rap with Jewish themes and all. He's a personality, really great energy, high energy. And of course, there's the menorah lighting ceremony. We're going to come together, stand together. I just want to say it's a very powerful feel and moment when we all come together. So many different people from all walks of life, and we stand together as one in a public way. To feel that's really what I think it's part of it's something beautiful about West Hartford in particular, that we have that feel. We're a town, but we're not a small town, and there's a communal feel that we could come together in the public place, in the center of our town. And and you could be proud of your culture. You don't have to hide it, and and it can be presented in a way where we all can celebrate something that we can, a message we can all stand together as. So coming together, I think, is a time where we need it more than ever. We need unity. We need pride, not to be intimidated from all the messages of hate that we've seen all around, to just positivity, spread positivity. And
absolutely,
it's 3 o'clock, but it's going to be all kinds of other things. Face painting. I know I'm going to do something. There's
that's right. And actually joining us in some role, we're not 100% sure what it will be yet. For those of you who love Dennis House and Kara Sunland, they will be on the stage as well, participating with the event. So it's really something in between. Well, Christmas and Hanukkah are the same day this year, on the December 25th. So something in between December 25th and New Year's, that Sunday at 3 o'clock. It's a wonderful way to experience, no matter what faith you are, it's a wonderful opportunity to really come together and celebrate the holiday season. So I encourage all of our listeners, as I have in the past, to attend, and get to see what it's all about. And again, Rabbi, if they want to call you, I think that's probably the best thing right now. What's your phone number one more time?
Sure, I'll give my phone number. My phone number is 860-232-8556. 860-232-8556. But also the website is fireonice.info. Fireonice.info. So they could register. Registration is register on that website. There is no charge, but we need to register. It's going to be great security. So thank you to the West Hartford Police Department and Public Works and all the parts of our community that make this mega event happen in a safe way and in a comfortable way and in a joyous way. Lots of joy.
Absolutely. Fantastic. Well, thank you for joining us today, Rabbi. It's been very educational, very informative, and most importantly, hopefully we'll get everybody who's listening to come join us on Sunday, the 29th of December at 3 p.m. for Fire on Ice in West Hartford Center at Town Hall. Yeah. Absolutely. Special thanks to our presenting sponsor, NBT Bank, because without them, there would be no podcast. So until next time, please be safe and be well. And
NBT is a sponsor of Fire and Ice as well for quite a few years.
Come on, look at that! Yes. See that?
Yes.
Bob. Every time we do this, there's an NBT.
Have a number of folks. I mean, NBT does a great job.
Yeah, that's wonderful.
Shout out to
good.
NBT Bank.
Absolutely. Okay, be well all. Enjoy the holidays, and we'll see you on December 29th at 3 p.m.
Thank you.
What I'm looking for in a bank is one that's looking out for me, like NBT. I want a relationship and a team that supports me in my dreams. And when life gets challenging, I need a bank that's focused on what matters. Not to mention one that's been top rated by Forbes in trust, customer service, financial advice, and more. That's why when it comes to meeting my banking needs, it's always NBT. Learn more at nbtbank.com. Member FDIC Equal Housing Lender.